When saving the planet turns into a demolition derby, you know humanity's doing eco-wrong. 1. The plastic bag ban that created more plastic. In 2011, California proudly banned single-use plastic bags, expecting dolphins to send thank you notes. Instead, people started buying thicker, reusable plastic bags, 5 times heavier, to use once and toss anyway. Sales of trash bags also skyrocketed because, surprise, folks had been reusing grocery bags for trash all along. So, while lawmakers patted themselves on the back for saving the planet, landfills quietly celebrated their new buffet of premium-grade polyethylene. It's like banning donuts to make people healthier. Then everyone just eats cake instead. The law technically worked. Single-use bags vanished. But the plastic didn't. It simply reincarnated in a thicker, smugger form. Saving the world apparently comes with bonus packaging. 2. The paper straw that melted faster than ice. Remember when coffee shops proudly replaced plastic straws with paper ones? They disintegrated faster than your willpower on a diet. These soggy tubes of guilt turned every milkshake into an act of endurance. But the real kicker? Most of those paper straws were coated in forever chemicals called PFAS, making them less biodegradable than the plastic they replaced. It's the eco-equivalent of trading cigarettes for vaping. Same addiction, new flavor. Some restaurants tried bamboo and pasta straws next, but customers found them tasting like wet lasagna noodles. In the end, we learned an important lesson. If you're going to save the turtles, maybe start by designing a straw that survives more than 3 sips of iced coffee. 3. The electric car battery. That Ada Mountain, electric cars promised zero emissions and guilt-free road trips. But someone forgot to mention the batteries need enough lithium, cobalt, and nickel to turn half of Bolivia into a quarry. Mining these materials isn't exactly a yoga retreat for Mother Earth. It destroys ecosystems, poisons rivers, and employs children to dig for green energy components. Meanwhile, when those massive batteries die, they can't be recycled efficiently, so they just sit there. Massive, toxic tombstones of sustainability. It's like bragging about quitting smoking while burning down a forest to celebrate. Sure, the tailpipe's clean, but the supply chain looks like a Bond villain's evil lair. The irony? To drive eco-friendly, we first have to wreck a few thousand square miles of planet. Progress. 4. The biofuel that starved half the planet. In the mid-2000s, biofuel was the golden child of eco-progress. Finally, we could drive cars powered by corn instead of dinosaurs. Politicians called it a revolution, farmers called it cha-ching, and developing countries called it famine. You see, when the US and Europe started turning crops into fuel, global food prices went through orbit. Entire fields once meant for feeding people were suddenly devoted to feeding SUVs. In some regions, corn became more valuable than currency. A tortilla cost more than a taxi ride. And the kicker? Biofuel wasn't even that clean. When you factored in fertilizer, water use, and transportation, it sometimes emitted more carbon than regular gasoline. So humanity invented a way to burn breakfast faster while pretending to save the planet. The only real winners were ethanol lobbyists and anyone who thought eco-friendly should come with a side of mass starvation. 5. The reusable tote. That needed a lifetime commitment. Reusable shopping bags sound saintly until you do the math. That cotton tote your favorite influencer calls sustainable, it needs to be used over 7,000 times to offset the resources required to make it. And guess what? The average person owns around 12 of them, uses each maybe 4 times, and then shoves them into a growing landfill of irony. The production of one organic cotton bag uses enough water to hydrate a village. But sure, it's printed with a cute slogan like, "There is no planet B." Even better, many of those bags are dyed, laminated, and made in overseas factories burning coal. So the next time you smugly decline a plastic bag, remember, unless you're grocery shopping every day for the next 20 years, your eco-tote is just a more fashionable piece of garbage. Mother Nature is rolling her eyes, and she's got a tote full of them. 6. The solar panels that died young and toxic. Solar energy is the ultimate feel-good solution. Sunlight in, clean power out. Except for one inconvenient truth, those shiny panels have a lifespan shorter than most cell phones and retire like rock stars. Toxic, expensive, and impossible to recycle. Beneath their eco-glow lies a cocktail of heavy metals, cadmium, lead, and silicon dust, that make them about as green as a battery spill. When they break or age out, usually after 15-20 years, most end up in landfills leaching chemicals into the soil. There's no mass recycling infrastructure because, surprise, it costs more to recycle them than to just make new ones. Some countries quietly ship them off to developing nations under the banner of reuse. Translation: we're exporting our eco-trash and calling it sustainability. The sun might be eternal, but your solar panels have the lifespan of a goldfish. Turns out even renewable energy comes with a side of non-renewable stupidity. 7. The compostable cup. That needed and industrial furnace coffee chains love to brag about their compostable cups. Because nothing says eco-hero like sipping a latte in a cup that technically disintegrates in only 200 degrees of industrial heat. That's right, most biodegradable cups require special composting facilities hotter than Satan's sauna. Toss them in your home compost or recycling bin, and they'll last longer than your student loans. In regular landfills, they behave just like plastic, except they make you feel better while polluting. Meanwhile, producing them costs more energy and creates more CO2 than the disposable cups they replaced. So we pay extra for moral superiority and end up with the same environmental hangover. It's the eco version of diet soda. All the guilt, none of the benefits. Somewhere in a landfill, a compostable cup is laughing at us while refusing to die. 8. The wind turbines that killed the birds. They came to save. Wind power was supposed to be the cleanest energy source on Earth until it became the avian apocalypse. Each year, these majestic white blades slice through the sky like giant bird blenders, taking out hundreds of thousands of eagles, hawks, and migratory birds who never saw sustainability coming. Even bats are dropping faster than Wi-Fi in a storm. Engineers tried painting the blades black, installing sirens, even using radar to detect flocks. But mostly, it's just the world's largest game of natural selection. And when turbines break, they leave behind fiberglass blades too massive to recycle. They just get buried in deserts like eco-sarcophagi. So, while we brag about clean wind energy, the planet quietly adds sky guillotine to its list of human inventions. It's poetic, really, saving nature by accidentally punching holes through it. 9. The recycled plastic. That went on a world tour, recycling plastic was supposed to be humanity's redemption arc. Toss your bottle in the blue bin, save a turtle, and feel morally superior for a day. Except most of that recycled plastic doesn't get reborn. It gets exported. For decades, the US and Europe shipped their sorted plastic waste to Asia, where it was supposedly recycled, but often just dumped or burned in open pits. Countries like Malaysia and Indonesia became the world's trash can, all under the label of green trade. When China finally banned foreign waste imports in 2018, recycling centers worldwide had a meltdown, literally. Piles of eco-responsible plastic sat rotting in warehouses because nobody wanted them anymore. Turns out the circular economy was more of a boomerang. We threw away our trash, and it came back with interest. Recycling didn't end pollution, it just made us feel better about outsourcing it. Congratulations! We saved the planet, one cargo ship of garbage at a time. 10. The electric scooter graveyards of modern cities. Nothing says sustainable urban living like a pile of dead scooters stacked behind a Walmart. Electric scooters were supposed to revolutionize clean transport. No gas, no parking, just zip and go. In reality, they became disposable toys for adults with poor balance. These micro-machines last, on average, less than a year before ending up in landfills, stripped for parts or tossed into rivers by bored teenagers. Cities like Paris and San Francisco were once littered with them. Sidewalks looked like scooter cemeteries. And manufacturing them? That's an environmental riddle wrapped in lithium, aluminum, and guilt. Each one requires mining, shipping, and battery disposal, all so someone can avoid a 5-minute walk. The irony is staggering. An eco-innovation that dies faster than a phone battery on 1%. When sustainability meets impulse convenience, you don't get progress. You get an electric landfill on wheels. 11. The organic farming boom that burned more fuel. Organic farming sounds noble. Pure soil, no pesticides, just Mother Nature doing her thing. But when big corporations got involved, the tractors followed. Mass organic agriculture often uses more land, more water, and more fossil fuels per crop than traditional farms because yields are smaller and transport networks are sprawling. Add to that the constant import of organic products from overseas. Because nothing says local sustainability like shipping avocados halfway around the planet. Even compost transport burns thousands of gallons of diesel. So while consumers feel smug buying $9 organic cucumbers, the planet sighs under the weight of extra emissions. True organic farming can work, but not when it's industrialized into a global luxury brand. We turned eco-friendly into a marketing term that burns oil just to stay trendy. It's basically Whole Foods in tractor form. 12. The bamboo eco-products that lied through their fibers. For a few years, bamboo was the superhero of sustainability. Bamboo straws, bamboo shirts, bamboo toothbrushes. It was the miracle plant that could save us all. Except most of it was greenwashing in a cardigan. Converting tough bamboo stalks into soft fabric requires tons of toxic chemicals like carbon disulfide, which poison workers and waterways. The process is so polluting that it's banned in some countries. But hey, the tags still say eco-friendly. Even worse, much of the bamboo is farmed in monocultures that destroy natural forests and habitats. It's sustainability cosplay, fast fashion pretending to meditate. We didn't find a miracle plant. We found another way to mass-produce guilt with a Zen label. So if you've ever patted yourself on the back for buying bamboo socks, congratulations. You just wore the world's most deceptive stalk. 13. The carbon offsetting scam. That planted lies instead of trees. Corporations love carbon offsetting, which is like paying the planet to forgive your sins. Fly around the world in a private jet? No problem, just plant some trees somewhere. Except most of those trees never existed. Investigations found that up to 90% of carbon credits sold by major organizations were either fraudulent, double-counted, or based on forests that were never in danger to begin with. Some offsets funded plantations that displaced local communities or destroyed old-growth forests to plant fast-growing monocultures. So while companies bragged about being carbon neutral, they were basically laundering pollution with Photoshop. You can't cancel a planet-sized carbon bill with imaginary trees. Offsetting became the eco-version of writing an apology note on fire. If guilt could photosynthesize, maybe this would have worked. But instead, we just bought indulgences from the Church of Climate Marketing. 14. The meatless burger. That wasn't so innocent. The meatless revolution promised guilt-free indulgence. Burgers made of peas, not cows. But making a patty that bleeds like beef requires more chemistry than a meth lab. Lab-grown plant meat is ultra-processed, energy-hungry, and wrapped in more plastic than a Barbie doll. The carbon footprint of producing some of these imitation meats rivals that of chicken or pork. Then there's shipping the ingredients from all corners of the world, because apparently local is less important than vegan-sounding. And when you toss in the mountains of single-use packaging, the whole thing feels like a parody of sustainability. We traded farm animals for factory tanks. Different smell, same emissions. The only truly eco-friendly burger might still be a salad. But try selling that for $14 at a hipster diner. 15. The LED lights that broke the night. Switching to LED lights was supposed to save the planet from power-hungry bulbs. And it did, until we decided to leave them on all the time. Because they're cheap to run, cities and businesses started flooding the world with non-stop illumination. The result? Light pollution skyrocketed, messing with wildlife, bird migrations, and even human sleep cycles. Entire species that navigate by moonlight are now flying into shopping malls by accident. And LEDs emit harsh blue light that disrupts melatonin. Congratulations, we saved watts and lost our circadian rhythm. Some towns are now spending millions to re-darken their skies. That's right, humanity invented the perfect energy-efficient bulb, then accidentally built a 24-hour daylight prison for itself. We didn't just light up the world, we gave it insomnia. 16. The eco-resorts that bulldoze the jungle. Nothing says environmental luxury like sipping a mojito in a sustainable resort, built where a rainforest used to be. These eco-paradises advertise treehouse-style villas and solar panels while conveniently leaving out that they flattened thousands of actual trees to build them. Mangroves? Gone. Coral reefs? Replaced with infinity pools. And to make sure guests can reach their secluded slice of nature, the resorts build private airstrips and diesel-powered boats. Some even import organic avocados by plane from another continent because local food apparently tastes less Instagrammable. Then, after burning thousands of gallons of fuel to arrive, tourists get little bamboo keychains that say, "Save the Earth." It's like holding a funeral for the planet while selling tickets to the buffet. Eco-resorts aren't saving nature. They're repackaging its corpse with room service and a welcome drink. 17. The water bottles made of foam. More plastic. You've seen them. Those trendy water bottles labeled 100% recycled plastic. Sounds good, right? Until you realize they're not recyclable again. Each time plastic is melted down, it loses quality, meaning your eco-friendly bottle's final destination is still the landfill. And manufacturing those recycled bottles still burns energy, emits CO2, and leaks microplastics into oceans. But here's the genius part. Companies get to brag about saving the planet while selling the same old product with a greener font. The bottles often cost more than regular ones too, because apparently conscience has a premium. Meanwhile, tap water, cheap, clean, and genuinely sustainable, sits in the corner like an ignored hero. Recycled plastic isn't a revolution. It's a marketing costume for the same polluter wearing a different shade of green. It's like bragging about your diet while eating low-fat donuts. 18. The paperless office that killed a forest of printers. Remember when every company announced they were going paperless? That noble quest lasted about a week, right until someone couldn't find the PDF they swore they saved. Suddenly, printers came roaring back to life like chainsaws at a lumberjack convention. Studies show digital workplaces now print more than before because everyone wants a backup copy. Add to that the energy burned by data centers storing trillions of useless emails, and the paperless revolution starts looking like a smoke screen. The average office worker still prints 10,000 pages a year. And those sleek new printers, built with plastics, rare metals, and chips that die faster than your Wi-Fi. We didn't go paperless. We just added electricity to our inefficiency. It's like switching from cigarettes to vaping and calling it healthy breathing. Somewhere, a rainforest is filing a complaint in triplicate. 19. The electric bus that ran on diesel generators. Some cities proudly launched fleets of zero-emission electric buses, only to realize they needed portable diesel generators to charge them. Because the local power grid couldn't handle the load, mechanics had to park fuel-powered trucks next to the charging stations, pumping out fumes so the buses could claim to be clean. It's the environmental equivalent of eating a salad while deep-frying the lettuce. Even worse, the batteries in those buses degrade quickly, and replacements cost more than the bus itself. But officials still held ribbon-cutting ceremonies, took selfies, and declared a new era of sustainable public transport. Sure, if sustainable means using 2 engines to go 1 mile. We didn't solve pollution, we just changed its branding. Somewhere in a garage, a diesel engine is laughing its exhaust pipe off. 20. The plant-based plastic that refused to die. At first, bioplastics seemed like a miracle. Bottles and forks made from corn or sugarcane instead of crude oil. You could throw them away guilt-free. Except you can't. These so-called compostable plastics don't decompose in nature. They need industrial facilities hotter than a volcano's armpit. In landfills or oceans, they behave exactly like regular plastic, breaking down into microplastics that sneak into your food, water, and bloodstream. Many recycling centers reject them because they contaminate the process, creating even more waste. So your green fork goes from salad to trash to eternity. It's like buying a biodegradable coffin that only decays on Mars. The truth? We just found a way to make pollution sound healthier, like calling a donut organic. Mother Earth doesn't care what the label says. She's still choking on our dinnerware. 21. The eco-friendly laundry detergent that poisoned rivers. Eco-detergents promise to wash our clothes and our consciences at the same time. Phosphate-free, biodegradable, gentle on nature. But many brands replace the banned chemicals with new ones that aren't regulated yet. Basically, pollution with better PR. These mystery ingredients flow straight into rivers, where they kill fish, foam up like a cappuccino, and coat plants in a slimy residue of human hypocrisy. Some eco-formulas even require more water to rinse, meaning your washing machine works harder and burns more electricity. And the packaging? Still plastic. It's environmental whack-a-mole. You hit one pollutant, another pops up in a greener bottle. Real sustainability isn't about pastel labels or meadow-scented bubbles. It's about not drowning nature in soap we can't even pronounce. But hey, at least the bottle says eco, so that's got to count for something, right? 22. the green clothing line that bled dye into the ocean. Fast fashion got a conscience, or at least a color palette called eco-chic. Brands started releasing sustainable clothing made of organic cotton and recycled polyester, parading models through fields like they'd personally ended pollution. But the production lines told a different story. Those plant-based fabrics were dyed with the same chemical cocktails used in regular clothes: cyanide blues, sulfur blacks, and neon greens that flowed straight into rivers near garment factories. In Bangladesh and India, entire waterways turned the color of next season's collection. Fish died, locals got rashes, and global brands posted hashtags like "Gosh, Green Future." Even recycling didn't help. Melting synthetic fibers just released microplastics into the air. So yes, your eco-hoodie might save a drop of water, but it's also slowly turning the planet into a tie-dye disaster. Sustainable fashion, more like environmental cosplay stitched together with guilt. 23. The rewilding projects that accidentally started wars. Rewilding sounds wholesome. Set nature free, let wolves roam, and watch balance return. But humans have a funny way of overdoing good ideas. When European conservationists reintroduced wolves to regions that hadn't seen them in a century, local farmers didn't see ecosystem restoration. They saw dinner invitations for their livestock. Angry protests erupted, sheep vanished, and entire communities split between save nature and save our goats. In some regions, tourists came for the wild experience, and suddenly the wolves had paparazzi. Meanwhile, predators migrated beyond park boundaries, terrorizing suburbs that thought the wild was on TV. The project's report proudly said, "The ecosystem is responding well." Translation: nature's back and she's pissed. It turns out, giving Mother Earth her claws back comes with side effects, and she doesn't always know the difference between balance and buffet. 24. The eco-shipping industry that polluted more than planes. Shipping companies love to remind us they're the backbone of global sustainability, which is adorable, considering the world's largest cargo ships burn bunker fuel, a sludge so toxic it's illegal to use on land. Just 15 of these floating factories emit more sulfur than every car on Earth combined. And yet, they paint their hulls green and brag about eco-initiatives, like slightly slower speeds. When governments proposed cleaner fuel rules, they lobbied for transitional flexibility, which basically means, let us keep poisoning the air while we figure it out. The irony? Those massive ships deliver solar panels, bamboo cutlery, and vegan candles, eco-products traveling halfway around the planet on a liquid tar. The industry's PR calls it sustainable logistics. The planet calls it a gas chamber with better branding. Sometimes the real carbon footprint isn't in the product, it's in the boat that carried it. 25. The tree planting campaign that created forests of fire. Plant a tree, save the planet. The simplest eco-slogan ever printed on a tote bag. Unfortunately, no one mentioned that planting millions of identical trees in the same spot isn't reforestation. It's a biological time bomb. In parts of Africa, Asia, and South America, well-intentioned NGOs filled landscapes with fast-growing eucalyptus and pine trees that sucked groundwater dry, killed native plants, and burned like napalm during dry season. Whole villages went up in smoke, all in the name of green virtue. Real forests are complex ecosystems, but monoculture plantations are basically eco-matchsticks waiting for a spark. When critics pointed this out, organizers said, "At least we're trying." True, but when your solution creates new disasters, maybe try smarter. You can't fix deforestation with a spreadsheet and a hashtag. The trees deserved better PR than that. 26. The ocean cleanup that dumped more plastic. The ocean cleanup project sounded heroic. Massive floating barriers drifting across the Pacific, scooping up trash islands like a Roomba of righteousness. But early prototypes snapped in half, scattered debris, and leaked microplastics into the very water they were supposed to clean. Maintenance required ships that burned thousands of gallons of diesel. Critics called it cleaning the ocean with pollution. Meanwhile, the group raised millions from donors desperate for redemption, turning environmental guilt into a business model. Don't get me wrong, cleanup efforts matter. But when your device leaves a bigger mess than it removes, you're not saving the sea. You're remixing it. It's the environmental version of mopping with mud. The project still claims it's improving, but the ocean might prefer we stop treating it like a wet laboratory for guilt-funded experiments. 27. The green burial that leaked into groundwater. Even death couldn't escape the eco-trend. Enter green burials. No coffins, no chemicals, just you and the soil. Sounds poetic until poorly planned cemeteries started leaking decomposing fluids into groundwater. Some sites were placed too close to wells or rivers, returning to the earth into poisoning the earth. Gently. Add biodegradable urns made with plastic resins that didn't actually degrade, and suddenly your peaceful eco-afterlife came with an environmental hangover. Funeral homes marketed it as sustainable legacy management. Translation: compost yourself, but only after signing this waiver. Ironically, traditional cremation, though not perfect, often had a smaller footprint. So humanity managed to take the one natural process we all share, decay, and make it worse. Congratulations, we turned dying into a brand deal. Saving the planet was supposed to be noble. Instead, we turned it into a reality show with better lighting. Which of these eco-ideas deserves the gold medal for backfiring brilliance? Drop your vote below, because apparently even saving the world needs crowd approval.